It is official. Donald Trump has nominated RFK Jr. to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. This, for some reason, made a lot of people mad.
Back and I'm better than ever. Whoa. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen him.
Donald Trump made the announcement on his Twitter. I'm thrilled to announce Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services. For too long, Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who have engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation when it comes to public health. The safety and health of all Americans is the most important role of any administration, and HHS will play a big role in helping ensure that everybody will be protected from harmful chemicals, pollutants, pesticides, pharmaceutical products, and food additives that have contributed to the overwhelming health crisis in this country. Mr. Kennedy will restore these agencies to the traditions of gold standard scientific research and beacons of transparency to end the chronic disease epidemic and to make America great and healthy again. This will help every single American, unlike the Democrats who were voting for things like abortion, who does not affect every person, or trans rights, who does not affect every person. But the Democrats, the establishment, and media are very scared. Mike Pence urges Senate Republicans to reject RFK Jr. for U.S. Health Secretary. I almost forgot who Mike Pence was. Here's another headline. Trump picks vaccine skeptic RFK Jr. to lead HHS in new administration. It turns out these days, the new definition of skeptic is anyone who asks questions. AP's headline says, Trump chooses anti-vaccine activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as health secretary. Are we done with AP yet? Are we? Because they are not journalists. All you have to do is search the internet just a little bit to see Robert F. Kennedy Jr. saying explicitly he is not anti-vax. Here it is.
You have been a crusader on questioning vaccines. Are there specific vaccines that you would seek to take off the market?
Oh, I'm not gonna take away anybody's vaccines. I've never been anti-vaccine.
You will not take any vaccine that is currently on the market.
I'm not. If vaccines are working for somebody, I'm not going to take them away. People ought to have a choice, and that choice ought to be informed by the best information. So I'm going to make sure the scientific safety studies and efficacies are out there, and people can make individual assessments about whether that product is going to be good for them.
AP, do a little bit of journalism. And I go on to show other people who are questioning this pick by Trump, who are a part of the establishment. Here's Hakeem Jeffries questioning Trump's pick.
And the question that we have to all ask, when we're confronted with nominations like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., are these the best individuals available to the incoming Trump administration?
Are you saying that this is the best individual for our current administration? Is that what you're saying, Hakeem? Let's see what this person has been focused on as far as health.
Hello, my name is Admiral Rachel Levine, and I have the honor of being the Assistant Secretary for Health at the United States Department of Health and Human Services. Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride. Happy Summer of Pride.
No.
Gender-affirming care is life-saving, medically necessary, age-appropriate, and a critical tool for healthcare providers. As a pediatrician, when it comes to making sure kids are healthy and happy, I know how important care that affirms someone's true identity can be.
This is focusing on trans people, which people will argue to the death of, like, why do you even care about trans? Why do you even care about these kids? It's only like 1%. It's only like a small percentage. Yeah. Why is the Secretary of Health and Human Services for the entire government and the entire country focused on 1%? Why are we not going after the Food and Drug Administration and the part of the establishment that is making us sick as a society. They think they're being inclusive, but they are being the most exclusive. Who's paying this person? This person is getting big checks for pushing this gender-affirming care. So I wonder, Hakeem, did you question if Rachel Levine was a good choice for our country? Because maybe that would have been a good question. I again, just want to make the comparison between and then RFK Jr. Here's more people being mad about this nomination. Morning Joe argues Trump's cabinet picks are unqualified on purpose. They're trying to wreck the government. So, Morning Joe, you're saying that the government we have now has done a good job, and we should continue that. What world are you living in? And if you're not aware of how bad the government has done its job, let me just give you some stats. Ben Smith on Twitter says, in America, 41.9% of people are obese. 70 million suffer from gut issues. 48% have cardiovascular diseases. And 6 in 10 adults have one chronic disease. You're not supposed to have high stats in this category. That's not how it works. Here's more of the Health Olympics. Top 36 nations ranked by life expectancy in 2018. Japan is at the top at 84.5 for age in years, and America is last. 36th place at 78.9. And here's another one, life expectancy versus health expenditure from 1970 to 2018. So the fact that we spend the most in healthcare, we go all the way to the right. Our life expectancy is the lowest. Make that make sense. Now, I ain't no expert, and thank God, because these experts ain't been experting, but that ain't good. Again, people are losing their minds over this RFK Jr. nomination. You need to stop focusing on losing your mind, start focusing on losing the weight. Michael Bosstick, the owner of Dear Media and the co-host of the Him and Hers podcast, put on his Instagram, to those that can't fathom an RFK Jr. as head of the HHS, let me take you back to 2020 when our health officials told us to hide inside, wear masks that didn't work, take experimental shots that caused many harm, and discourage sunshine and exercise outdoors, all in the name of health. Now, again, if you've been following my channel, you know I used to be on the left. I took the vaccine, and I don't like that. I don't. It's weird. I don't feel the same. And I wore masks everywhere. And I've done videos on the obesity epidemic before. You can go back on my channel and watch. But nobody was ever told to do exercise during COVID when 80% of the people who died were overweight. Michael goes on, the COVID response was an absolute shit show, and anyone who used common sense during that time was labeled crazy, reckless, and selfish. They were canceled and attacked. For years now, we have completely outsourced all personal accountability to Big Pharma and used body positivity as a way to sidestep reality and the epidemics staring us in the face. Any forward, outside-the-box, common-sense thinkers were looked down upon and judged by self-righteous individuals who to this day struggle to admit they were wrong. Some of you may not like it, but your children will be thanking those who had the courage to call out those absurdities as they get to enjoy longer, healthier, happier lives. To brighter days ahead, #Maha. Go look at Michael. He more fit than this. Let's listen to Michael. Let's listen to this guy, RFK Jr. How about we listen to that? We want to listen to experts, these people in white coats. But we know that just because you're wearing a white coat doesn't make you an expert. Michael has another post on his Instagram, and he goes on to say, wild to hear people scream about how unsafe we will be with this new health administration. The way we've been going with the prior administrations is as follows. Roughly 74% of individuals are overweight or obese. Infertility rates climbing at about 1% per year, with infertility being higher than ever. Population decline is a real issue. Food is more toxic and more expensive than ever. early cancer diagnosis is up about 80%, and more young people are facing late-stage cancer battles. The average 30-year-old man has the testosterone levels of a 50-year-old man in years past. And COVID crushed the U.S. harder than anywhere because we are out of shape and sicker than ever. We have poison in our crops and food supply. Our hormones are being crushed. Can go on and on here. The point is, we are already unsafe. The alarm bells have been ringing. We can't continue to ignore them any longer. This should be bipartisan. #Maha. This should be bipartisan, but people have been so misguided and brainwashed that they want to hate every single thing that Trump does. Because if he does something good, then that means maybe they were wrong about him, and people would start to question a lot. We want to focus on trans health or black health, but we don't want to look at the facts of all Americans and take that into account. I know it's been kicked around a little bit of people paying more taxes for them being more overweight, and that's something that I kind of agree with. You should have to take personal responsibility of your life and not continue the rest of everybody else to carry that weight. Pun intended. I'm flabbergasted at the fact that after what happened with the election, of the media saying that it was going to be such a close race, and the media saying that Trump was a Hitler, and then now people are still listening to them. They're still spouting these things, and people are still listening to them. I mean, not by much. Their viewership has gone way down. But people are still listening to them? What? If you got a friend who tells you over and over and over again that something's going to happen, that something very important is going to happen, like the person that you like is going to ask you out, and you get all excited and you're like, yeah, I can't wait for this person to ask me out. I've been so lonely. And then it happens where you see that person out and you're like, what's up? Hey, heard you going to ask me out. And they're like, no, who are you? Would you listen to that friend anymore? Would you? Because this is kind of what's happening here. And you still listening to those people. Stop listening to them. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about this RFK Jr. Donald Trump nomination? Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.
Back and I'm better than ever. Whoa. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. Yeah. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. They get not taught of me never. Yeah. Give me a shot and I swear I shoot like Berettas. Yeah, yeah. They getting nervous, I seen it. What I seen.